Have you ever found yourself repeating repentance rituals, chanting sutras, and reflecting on past mistakes, yet feeling no lighter inside? Perhaps you even feel heavier, burdened, and more anxious with every act of self-reproach. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we will explore a crucial yet often misunderstood teaching, the true purpose of repentance, and why doing it incorrectly can inadvertently deepen your suffering instead of liberating your heart. Many practitioners think that repentance is about endlessly dwelling on faults, reliving mistakes, or punishing oneself through ritualistic acts. The misconception is widespread. If you feel guilty, repeat the ritual. If you feel unworthy, increase the intensity. But this approach is counterproductive. True repentance in Buddhism is not self-punishment. It is a path toward awakening, is a method to purify the mind, cultivate awareness, and transform past errors into wisdom and compassion. Let's start with the first principle. Repentance is about awakening, not punishment. When you understand that your errors rise from ignorance and attachment, you begin to see them as opportunities for learning. Every misstep becomes a teacher. Every mistake can generate insight if approached with mindfulness and sincerity. True repentance acknowledges the past, accepts responsibility, and redirects intention toward improvement. It does not feed guilt, self-criticism, or endless regret. Consider the story of a devoted practitioner who had spent years repenting for early mistakes. Each day, he bowed and chanted, yet anxiety and self-reproach only increased. He consulted a master who asked him, "Why do you bow?" He answered, "To clear my sin." The master smiled and said, "Bow to cultivate clarity, bow to transform the mind. Stop punishing yourself, start awakening." That day marked a turning point. The practitioner learned that repentance is an inner journey, not an external burden. The second principle is the integration of repentance with ethical action. True repentance is inseparable from corrective behavior. Recognizing faults is not enough. You must cultivate positive actions that counterbalance past misdeeds. This includes acts of generosity, compassion, and support for others. By pairing awareness of past mistakes with deliberate virtuous conduct, you create new karmic seeds, restoring harmony and balance. Without action, repentance remains a hollow ritual that may deepen guilt instead of freeing the mind. Thirdly, proper repentance requires sincerity and clarity. Mindlessly reciting sutras or mechanically performing prostrations without understanding their meaning can create the illusion of purification, while the mind remains attached to self-condemnation. Mindful repentance asks, "Am I aware of my intention? Me cultivating wisdom, clarity, and compassion as I practice?" These questions anchor the practitioner in the present moment, transforming ritual into genuine spiritual work. Another practical approach is reflective meditation. During meditation, bring awareness to past actions without judgment. Observe your emotions, understand the motivations behind your behaviors, and acknowledge consequences, and consciously choose how you will respond in the present moment to create better conditions. This method purifies the mind gradually, rather than intensifying anxiety or self-recrimination. Essential teaching from the Buddha emphasizes the impermanence of faults and karmic patterns. Mistakes, wrongdoings, and misdeeds are like waves. They rise, crest, and fall. They do not define the true nature of your mind. Repentance is the practice of returning to the clarity and purity of awareness. When approached correctly, it releases attachment to guilt and self-blame, allowing the natural wisdom and compassion of the mind to emerge. Consider another example. A practitioner who had harmed others in moments of anger believed that repetitive repentance would erase the harm. He performed rituals and bowed daily, but felt heavier with each session. Through guidance, he learned to pair repentance with genuine restitution and mindful practice. By making amends, offering service, and transforming habitual patterns of thought and action, he experienced true liberation. The act of ethical engagement, combined with mindfulness, amplified the power of his repentance. Repentance is not linear. It is a cycle of awareness, understanding, transformation, and reaffirmation. It is not about accumulating ritual points, but about cultivating inner freedom, a shifting focus from self-punishment to mindful awakening. Each act of repentance becomes a seed for clarity, compassion, and moral growth. To summarize, true repentance has 4 key aspects: awareness of past actions without clinging, understanding the root causes, cultivating virtuous behavior in response, and sustaining clarity and compassion throughout. When practiced with these principles, repentance becomes a transformative path rather than a source of burden. Where past is acknowledged, your present is empowered, and your future is positively shaped. As you reflect on your own practice, are my repentance rituals deepening guilt or cultivating clarity? Are they mechanical or are they intentional? Are they guiding me toward awakening or reinforcing attachment to self-condemnation? Awareness of these dimensions is essential for transforming your practice into genuine spiritual growth. In closing, let every act of repentance be a conscious step toward freedom. Let every reflection of past mistakes illuminate the path of wisdom. Let every ritual embody clarity, compassion, and mindful transformation. When approached correctly, repentance is not a weight, it is liberation. It is the light that turns error into insight, suffering into compassion, and self-blame into awakening. Share your experiences in the comments. How has mindful repentance transformed your understanding of past mistakes? How have you learned to cultivate awareness and virtue through your spiritual practice? Or insights may inspire others to approach repentance with wisdom and clarity. Please like, subscribe, and support the channel to continue exploring profound Buddhist teachings. Your participation strengthens the practice and helps cultivate wisdom, compassion, and clarity in daily life.